right. Good morning, everyone. Happy spring and happy opening day. I was informed. Go O's, yay. Thank you for joining us at our March press availability. Dr. Rogers will come up now to share some updates and, of course, answer questions from the media. Thank you, Dr. Rogers.
So good morning. I don't have orange, but I did see all over the news this morning. That was the color to wear. So good morning, and thank you for joining us. Today I'll provide updates on the fiscal year 2026 operating budget process and system progress in reducing chronic absenteeism with some safety reminders. I want to begin by recognizing our officials who are here with us. Welcome, County Council Member Julian Jones. Welcome, Board of Education member Maggie Dominowski. Welcome, Board of Education chairperson Jane Lichter. And welcome, Board of Education member Emery Young. Thank you for being here. Last month, the Board of Education voted to approve a $2.98 billion fiscal year 2026 operating budget request. Since the board's vote, I have continued to meet weekly with the county executive, her budget team, and members of the county council. I have also met with the Board of Education members to provide updates and gather input, and I plan to provide a comprehensive update for our community at the Board of Education meeting on April 8th. Ahead of the April 8th update, I'm pleased to share that we've made progress in narrowing the gap in funding and continue to work together to find an option that will ensure that our system receives the funding that it needs to meet the needs of Team BCPS. This has not been an easy task. It has required reductions in central office positions at all levels and contractual services, maintaining a central office hiring freeze, as well as other adjustments in costs, supplies, and non-labor expenses. We have implemented additional strategies, including freezing central office hiring, consolidating departments, trimming contracts, pausing automatic contract renewals, and approved fund balance use. Despite the fiscal uncertainties and the tough decisions that we've had to make, to date, we've maintained our commitment to protecting class sizes and current classroom teacher staffing allocations. We will continue to include other options to keep our students and schools first. The county executive will present her recommended FY26 operating budget on April 11th. I want to thank her in advance for her commitment to Team BCPS. She and her team continue to work with us to find a solution that will ensure maximum funding for our students and staff. We are aware of and understand the competing interests and limited funds at the local level as well. We will keep our community informed as the budget moves on to the County Council for review. With the continued implementation of our Here For It campaign and bolstered efforts from school communities, we continue to see improvement in chronic absenteeism. The percentage of students attending school consistently has increased significantly, while the percentage of schools who are chronically absent has decreased. Approximately 60% of our students are attending school with consistency compared to less than 50% just 2 years ago. Every dollar we request as a school system is critically important for the work that we do to support students, combat chronic absenteeism, empower students and families, and reduce barriers to school attendance. For the last school year, we were highlighted and recognized by the Maryland State Department of Education as having the #1 improvement in the reduction of chronic absenteeism across schools in the state. When we dug into that data, we saw that our improvement in chronic absenteeism was not only in the aggregate for all kids in the system, we also saw improvements at all school levels, in all geographic zones, and for all student groups. Last year, roughly 28% of students were chronically absent. This year, we are down to 26.7% and trending toward an end-of-year reduction. We reviewed our year-to-date data last week and noted that in addition to the significant reductions last year, we have 74 schools that are doing even better than the same time last year. This did not happen by chance. It happened because of all the tremendous efforts of our staff, teachers, administrators, support staff, and students, families, and community partners. We thank our students, schools, and parents for this continued progress. We look forward to providing additional updates on our efforts to combat chronic absenteeism in the near future. With roughly 2.5 months left in the school year, I want to share important safety reminders to ensure all students complete the school year strongly and on a positive note. I want to thank our students and staff for the work that they've done this school year to build and sustain positive and supportive learning spaces. It is important to acknowledge the majority of our students come to school ready to learn and engage with their peers and adults. It is essential that every member of our community understands the role that they play in supporting student and staff safety and well-being. For our students and families, your role includes coming to school prepared to fully engage in the instructional program, reporting any safety concerns to teachers or administrators, and being respectful and responsible towards peers and staff. For our community, that includes modeling positive behaviors in the community, alerting school administrators and staff when an ongoing community issue may cause problems in the schoolhouse, volunteering, and developing partnerships and programs that help meet the needs of students and families. When we work together and commit to upholding our roles, we create safe and welcoming spaces where students can maximize learning and experience all that our schools have to offer. Thank you, Ms. Onijala.
Dr. Rogers, a couple of questions. Going back to chronic absenteeism, one, is there a breakdown by either by school or by level, meaning elementary, middle, high school, that we can access that data for?
Yes, we actually have both. So I didn't, report on by level. By level, we also see the decreases for elementary school, middle school, and high school as well. We have shared that information at prior board meetings, but we also have a dashboard, a public-facing dashboard. When you go to the specific school, for each school, it lists what the chronic absenteeism was. So we can send those links to you.
And I'm following up with that. The reason I'm asking that question is because I have been following progress at Woodlawn High School and also Newtown. I received information from the Randallstown NAACP, which has been working with school and community partners to find some solutions that they can assist the school with. One of the things that was mentioned to me by the NAACP was the concern of a chronic absenteeism in Woodlawn High School. The concern is that with Woodlawn and with Newtown, both of them are right next to shopping centers. And the concern of those students pouring into those shopping centers, whether they are absent or whether it's after school, and causing some disruptions. In particular, there was, I think, recently a shooting at Newtown, or in that Newtown shopping center. So there were some concerns regarding that, but also in Woodlawn. How do you connect those, or do you have any comments on those concerns that people in those neighborhoods and the businesses in those neighborhoods have regarding the students and not having a place to go after school, so they just pour into the shopping center next door?
So thank you. The first thing I would say is I would not automatically connect, and I would caution community members to not automatically connect any person that appears to be young as a student in Baltimore County Public Schools. We have a very strong relationship and partnership with our chief of police and the police department. They work diligently and share information with us. So if there is anything that involves our students, that is reported to the school, and they follow our established policies and procedures. Specifically around those shopping centers. That is why we spoke to my job, our job, and your job. That's why it's so important to have those community partners, to have opportunities for young people, whether they attend our schools or not, to have a safe haven. And that's why we believe we all have a shared responsibility that if we see something happening that should not be happening, whether it's in the community that can spill into a school or whether it's in the community that can spill into another public space. We have a responsibility to report that. And again, our schools are open. They have been for a few years. We, again, invite community partners to come in directly into our schools to work directly with our principals and to volunteer. I will make a shameless plug. We are inviting people to volunteer after, of course, they've gone through our vetting and been approved through the best times or the times where we need them most, before school, during lunch, and after school. So anybody who's willing to be a positive part of helping our young people, our schools are happy to receive you. Thank you.
Hi, Dr. Rogers. I'm curious about teacher pay packages for 2025, 2026. I know there's some budget concerns given just the county and state constraints. Could you speak to, are those raises going to happen? What are sort of the challenges you're navigating there?
I can speak to, I too am concerned about packages. Teachers are one part of our school system. I would be remiss if I didn't highlight that we are concerned about and care about all 20,000 employees because they all play a very significant role in what we do to make sure that students are learning. As I mentioned, I continue to work with the county executive and her team, as well as our other funding partners. Times are tight. There are a lot of difficult decisions that are being made across the state. We want to prioritize to the extent possible our ability to retain those staffing allocations that we've provided in January, but we also know that based on competing interest in the final funding that we receive, we will have to work together to make a decision that's in the best interest of students. So I wish I could give you a definitive response, but right now we don't know, but we are committed to working together.
Another budget-related question, I think. The school psychologists and counselors, the decision to have them go from 12 to 10-month employees, was that a decision made to help the budget? And if so, do you know how much money that ended up saving?
So I don't have the amount of money on hand, but it was one of the decisions to help us with the budget. Specifically, actually with both of those positions, the department chairs for all of our other content areas, those department chairpersons are 10 months. The counseling department chairpersons were the only ones that had a 12-month salary in addition to the stipend that we provide everyone who supervises departments based on the number of people in the group. We looked at what was happening across our state. We looked at the data, met with our counseling department chairpersons, started the conversation last year, went into it this year, and where we were able to land is, in addition to the stipend, to also provide more than double the number of summer days that we provide to their counterparts in the other content areas, to be as fiscally responsible and sustainable as possible. In the area of psychologists, as a school system, for a long time, we've had both 10-month and 12-month psychologists, and so we've moved to all 10-month psychologists, again, based on the data and the needs for our students. Job descriptions were no different between the two positions. We took a look at the work that occurs during the summer, the actual meetings that we hold for our students, and then identify the requisite number of summer days that we would need to allocate to everyone to make sure that not only did we have time for all of those meetings and service of students, but also there were additional days for psychologists to take care of other areas of responsibility that they might have, and a central office bank in case we had some students who moved in and there was an emergency need to hold a meeting. And so those decisions were made with data. They were made on actual student need and assessing all of the resources that we have available in case there are some needs in the summer to meet the needs of our students. Again, while I'm sharing all of these details, I it doesn't mean that we don't accept, understand, and acknowledge that there are certainly feelings about this, and these are difficult decisions that we had to make. But in a sea of difficult decisions, we have tried to avoid en masse just reducing large numbers of people and really being thoughtful and intentional about the decisions that we're making, prioritizing our student needs.
Following up on Kristen's question, what other positions that directly involve student interaction were, I guess, put on the chopping block, and also do you foresee there being a hiring freeze in the coming year for teachers and direct support staff?
So I'll start with hiring freeze for teachers. We do not implement a hiring freeze for teachers. We want the highest quality individual in front of our students as soon as possible. And so the Division of Human Resources works tirelessly throughout the year to hire, and when there's a position, they work diligently to try to fill those positions with high qualified individuals, because ultimately we exist for high levels of student learning. And so that is not an area where we can afford to try to implement a savings. In terms of chopping block, I would not indicate that positions were on the chopping block. As I indicated to Ms. Griffith, what we did was reclassify and shortened the duration to align with the 10 months that our students are in school. We're not going to share specific positions, but I will share with you in the April 8th upcoming update. We will speak specifically to central office position reductions that we've made and ways that we work to increase efficiencies and reduce redundancies. But really, our priority has been about what our students receive the 10 months that they're in school on a regular basis.
I know we don't have many details yet from MSD or the governor about tentative plans to like open teaching professions to federal workers who have been laid off. Any statement just about that idea, or any statement about that idea?
I think we support all opportunities to bring in highly qualified staff members. As a matter of fact, our human resources was involved in a job fair just a few weeks ago. It was a job fair specifically focused on, federal workers who had lost their positions. Many of them come with a wide variety of skills already, with college educated, areas of finance, areas of IT, in addition to specific content areas that may, match well with teaching positions. And so we're certainly open to opportunities to bring in highly qualified people into our classrooms.
Well, thank you all for joining us, and we will see you in April. Have a great day.